Hey homeschool friends. So welcome to my March update video where I talk a bit about what's been going on in our homeschool, which I feel like March is kind of a strange month. Like on one hand, I'm really planning for next year and I'm really excited and I'm collecting curriculum, which is all the videos I've been showing you lately. But on the other hand, you're still have the curriculum from this year and you still have to finish strong and finish with enthusiasm. That's how I feel. I feel like I always kind of lose enthusiasm, but yet it's springtime, which is energetic. So it's just kind of a funny month. But I do have some things to share with you from this past month, some things that I have been fine tuning for this current year. So stay tuned and I will share more about that in this homeschool update video. So hi, my name is Angie. Welcome to the channel if you're new here, or welcome back if you've been coming for a while. So like I said, I love to do these homeschool update videos for you guys, and they tend to be really pretty casual. I like to talk about what's going on in our life, as well as touch on family subjects, individual subjects for each of my kiddos. So that's what we're going to do. A little bit about life, like what's been going on. And I have shared a couple of times on this channel that it's been quite the season for us. My husband has been going through some health stuff and his surgery is the middle of this month. And so prayers for that. I mean, I'm nervous, I'm hopeful. It's just been quite the journey. So we are in that. But honestly, it's had a bit of an effect on me personally. I'm not sleeping very well and I love to sleep. I've never had sleep problems. I'm having GI problems, all of these things, which I think is just stress and anticipation, but it's still hard. And so I started talking about this a bit on my other channel, on my book channel, which I do actually plan on sharing a bit more over there. So follow me over there if you're interested in kind of these life updates, health updates, because I'm going to be sharing a bit more on my health journey, just because I have reached a point in my life when I just want to take control of some things. Mostly I'm talking diet things, exercise, just making choices that are good for my health. I just want to feel more energized. I want to feel healthier. So I'm in the research process of all that. I've been checking out tons of cookbooks. I've just been looking into a lot of things because I also know my husband's approaching surgery. Right now is not the time for a major change. I know that, but I do like researching, so I'm kind of in the mode of that. And this does pertain to homeschool. So sorry for that long-winded story, but this does pertain to homeschool because it has shifted our schedule, our homeschool schedule just a bit. And I will share that with you now. And I guess I'll just switch to family subjects and we'll start with the schedule. So I have been able to switch our schedule, which I have posted a recent video on our schedule, and that stays for the most part the same, except I decided that I wanted to find some space in our schedule so that I could work out. For the past 4 years or so since I've had my twins, I just have been there's no time. I can't do it. I can't do it with them around. It's just really hard to work out. And I think I have to kind of shift my approach a little bit from where I used to be to now and live in that reality. But what we decided to do was to give me a chunk of time in the morning. And what that did is it shifted everything, because I used to start at 7:30 with math so that we could finish up math before we do preschool drop off at 9. But the thing is, I have to just be on my game then. And I would prefer to work out before getting the homeschool day started. So that's what we're doing. I moved math to after lunch. Previously, we hadn't really had too much after lunch, but now we have math. And so far, it's working fine. It's not a big deal. And it actually is kind of a reprieve for my morning. I don't feel like I have to hit the ground running. I can change the laundry. I can do the dishes, but it gives me that amount of time to work out. But the thing is I had to train my kids to help with breakfast prep, because that's what I would be doing at those times. So I have trained them to help me make breakfast and clean up breakfast, and it's just been fantastic. It's been working really well, and it just took me thinking about things in a little bit of a different way to come up with that solution. But now I have this hour with which I can work out. And granted, I am not working out every day because I'm not used to working out. So I'm trying every other day and I'm easing myself in, but I'm just really proud of that. But anyway, it does pertain to homeschool because we've switched some things around, and that's good. It's okay. I feel like it's good to find a schedule that works, but it's also good to be flexible with that schedule. So anyway, I'll stop talking about all that stuff and I will move on to some family subjects. So let's start with Bible. So Sunlight Bible, we're liking. It's going really well. We stopped doing this scripture memory a while back, and I really do want to bring it back in. And I'm trying to figure out how to do that. I think I'm just going to take the disc, because Sunlight comes with a disc where it will help you memorize the verses. And I think I'm going to bring it into our van, which I used to do, but I stopped doing, and I just want to do that. So Bible is good. We have good conversations. I feel like I need a little bit more in that area. So that's okay. As for history with Sunlight, we are in the Civil War part of American history, and it's really good. I should have brought the book we're reading. It's one of those books that you wouldn't want to be books. Like, this is you wouldn't want to be a Civil War soldier. And my kids really like these books. They like the one that was like you wouldn't want to be an American pioneer or something like that. And they just like them. They like the pictures. They like the small amount of writing. And they're just learning a ton. So it's really fun. So we're really enjoying that part of the history. And then science is also going really well. We're really liking the videos, which I talked more about last time, so I won't talk about it now because we're in about the same spot with that. I actually am thinking of catching up on some of the science experiments because we took a break there for a while, and so we have a lot that we could still do. And I think I'm going to do it the week after my husband's surgery because I've blocked that off. Like, I don't want to do full-on school. I just don't know how he's going to be feeling because he has to stay in the hospital a number of days. I don't even know when he's going to get out, sort of idea. But so that week after, I'm planning it to be like a science experiment and an art week because I purchased Artistic Pursuits last year and the kit and all this stuff, and we have it all, and we've done a good amount of it. I'd say about half, but there's still a lot to be done. And we don't do art on the regular in our homeschool because they have an enrichment school where they both have an art class. So I'm not too worried, but we have the resources. They love it. So I think we're going to make it like a fun week of experiments and art lessons. And so that's my plan for here kind of mid-month. So those are family subjects, always a highlight of our day. As for what we're reading, so we haven't made a ton of progress this month. I mean, we have a little bit. So as for the books we read for Sunlight, we read this one, and it was very cute. Violet Mackerel's Brilliant Plan. It's a very small book. It has a number of pictures. I mean, it could probably be a reader. It actually says ages 6 to 10. So I'm sure kids could pick this up and read it themselves, but it made for a really sweet read aloud as well. It's about this girl whose mom is a part of this like craft fair, and she sees this little blue china bird on like the stall next door, and she really wants it, and she has a lot of plans for how to get it, and it's just really sweet and really cute, and my kids really liked it. So that was a really fun book. And then the next book we picked up and are currently reading is this one, which is called The Adventures of the South Pole Pig by Chris Kurtz. This is a really cute book so far. It's on the bigger end, so it's definitely going to take us a little longer than some of the other reads, which I'm fine with because my kids have been listening to longer read alouds for quite some time, so they're totally fine with it. And so this is about a pig. It's really cute. It's about this pig named Flora who lives on a farm, and the farm also breeds sled dogs who are sent to the South Pole, and I believe somehow she joins them and goes to the South Pole with them on a little adventure of her own. So it's just very cute. It definitely gives me vibes of like Wilbur and Charlotte's Web, so we are highly enjoying it so far. So we're reading that one. And then as for nighttime reads, that's where we haven't been reading quite as regularly as we have in the past. And partly because we had spring break there for a week when they were off of their enrichment school and preschool, so we just did fun things that week. So we just didn't have as much time. So we are just continuing on with this one, which I shared last time, and it's the first Nancy Drew book, The Secret of the Old Clock. We're about halfway. We're enjoying it. I mean, the words are a little bit hard sometimes. We stumble over them, but both kids are listening and both kids want to know what is going to happen to Nancy on her investigation. And then we also picked up this book. So I had shared that we were going to read a book called The Art of Flying, I think it was, in my last video, but we put that down. We didn't finish it. And not because it was a bad book, it was just a bad read aloud book. It was hard to read aloud. My kids were having a tough time tracking with who was talking, and it just wasn't distinct enough in their voices, and maybe I'm not a good enough read aloud teacher to make that happen, but we were struggling with that, so I just put it back on the shelf, and I'll just have the kids read it when they get to the age where they can read that themselves. So instead my son picked this one. So it's the second in the Boxcar Children story. It's called Surprise Island. It's very cute. They go to an island And there is this man named Joe who's a bit mysterious, and I think they're going to kind of figure that out. But they bring in a lot of those same themes of them like foraging for food and cooking for themselves, and their grandfather kind of gives them a longer leash, if you will, and it's just enjoyable. My kids love the idea of imagining what it would be like to be able to run their lives a little bit more. So those were our read alouds for March. So now let's see, moving on to my kids, to my individual kids. So first, my second grader, and this is my son who is 8, and he is doing well. So let's do math first. So we are still doing Saxton math, and it's going really well. It's a good fit for him. I mean, he still struggles learning his math facts, and I think that's just the type of kid he is. I think it's just going to be a bit more of a challenge for him, and I'm trying to figure out what I want to do for the summertime, because I know that we can't take the full 6 to 8 weeks, which is kind of about what we normally take, totally off for math and reading. And I feel like reading's a little easier than figuring out how to do math. I'm not sure if I'm going to do like a workbook plus some like flashcards, but I just feel like he's gonna lose a lot of this, and it's already a struggle. I mean, when we took spring break and came back, then it was just hard to get that all going again. So I feel like we need to keep math going to some extent over the summer, which is hard for both me and them, but I think we can do it in a good way. So if you guys have ideas for that, please put them down below, because I'm currently thinking about that right now. So that's math. And then for language arts, he's doing well with Abeka and All About Reading for phonics. He's really doing well with that. I shared that in the last video where he's really taken to reading, and I'm excited, and he's picking up more books. He hasn't really picked up any himself yet, just to read independently, but what we do read together, he's doing really well. So we're on track with that, as well as spelling. We're using All About Spelling still. We're in level 2, and that's going well. I think I'm just going to keep going with All About Spelling for a bit, and then we're going to try out Sunlight's spelling next year. We'll see what happens there, but I'm not too worried. I don't feel like he's behind or ahead. I just feel like he is where he is for spelling. And the same story for handwriting, because we're using the Abeka cursive program, and he just does a sheet a day, and he does pretty well when he focuses. He doesn't bring his cursive into any other writing, but that's pretty normal because I think cursive is just so much harder to do. But I can read what he writes, so we're fine. And last thing I want to talk about for his language arts is EIW, so Essentials in Writing, which I got him grade 2. We switched around Christmas time, and we've been mostly in the grammar section, and it's been good. He really likes watching the DVDs. I feel like he's learning pretty well. I mean, he's not totally retaining. It's almost like a first time through some of these concepts, which I'm totally fine with. And also, as I was looking through the Abeka stuff for next year, because we're just going to keep going in Abeka, a lot of the grammar concepts that he's learning in EIW will be brought back up through Abeka and start spiraling there, which I like the spiral better because EIW is not necessarily spiral. It just goes from topic to topic to topic to topic, and then if I ask him something from earlier in the year, he's a little more fuzzy. But that's okay. I'm just glad that it gave him kind of a first walk through some of these concepts. And what we're going to do actually is I'm going to skip ahead to the composition part of grade 2 of EIW because they're split into kind of 2 big chunks. And I'm going to spend the rest of the time we have this year, which is about 10 weeks, going through some of those lessons and teaching him how to formulate a paragraph and things like that, which I think will be really good setup, like first time through composition and writing. I think it'll be helpful. I also want to just feel that out as to how he likes it, because if he doesn't like Sunlight, which we're going with again next year, I feel like I could hop back into EIW, because really my choice for Sunlight was to keep things a little bit more manageable all in one curriculum. And I've heard great things about the Diamond Notes for teaching composition in Sunlight. So I'm excited about giving that a try, but I want to also test out a little bit of EIW to see how he jives with it, how I jive with it. So we're going to shift now for the remainder of the year and just do the comp. So I will let you know on my next update videos how that is going, because that's our biggest change probably, is to just skip over some of the grammar and start doing some writing. So wish us luck on that. But that's my son. Now, as for my daughter, she's in first grade, 6 years old. She's almost 7, and she's doing well. She's doing Saxon Math 1, and she's flying through it. She's learning lots of stuff, and she's fine. She's just not having really any problems with the math facts at this point, but that doesn't mean she won't later. But for right now, she's doing really well. And same with phonics. So she's definitely still in the very much learning to read stage. We're doing a Becca K5 plus all about reading level 1, and we are tracking to finish those both by the end of the year as well. And she's really right where I expect her to be, honestly. So I love where she's at there, and my plan is to continue reading readers all summer long. Again, I need to organize myself on that. I feel like I have high goals and low follow through in the summer times, but I really don't want them to lose the skills they have acquired in both math and reading over this summer. So again, ideas. I always love your guys' ideas. That's one of the best parts of these videos, is your guys' thoughts and opinions. And the last language arts bit for her is we've been doing some lightning literature, which I talked about, is that we were doing it for kind of some light grammar, not any composition, but more of reading comprehension. And that program tends to go by the wayside if we're really busy. Or I like read the book and maybe do the very first day of grammar and not days 2 through 4. And so it's very cursory, and it's something that I'm not too worried about as she's going to be going into Sunlight next year. And I just feel a little bit more confident with being able to teach some of that stuff after doing EIW with my son. So sometimes it's about my confidence level to be able to do a program that I wasn't confident in doing a couple years ago, if that makes sense. So that's really the only switch we have for her. And then for my preschoolers, my twins, 4-year-old boys, nothing's changed. They're still doing preschool in the mornings 3 days a week. I did sign them up for preschool for next year because they missed the cutoff because they're November kids. So they are not like kindergarten ready, which I honestly probably wouldn't put them in kindergarten anyway if they were young 5-year-olds, but they're going to be like old 4-year-olds come fall. So they're still in the preschool program, but they're just in the preschool 4 program, which is afternoons, which is going to take some schedule adjustments for next year, which I'm starting to brainstorm a bit of that. So I'm excited for them. I'm excited to bring them on and just see how that goes, because they are excited to learn. They're just very energetic and easily distracted. So that's my twins. So yeah, guys, that is how our March homeschool went. I feel like it went better than February in the sense it didn't feel like such a slog. It just feels like I'm a little split focused, which I'm sure a lot of you can understand. It's a split between like next fall and right now and how that's all gonna go. And so again, prayers for my husband's surgery. If you are a praying sort, I would really appreciate that. And for myself and being able to kind of handle it. It's just been more challenging than I expected or sometimes know what to do with. So anyway, that's where we're at. That's where I'm at. I would love to hear how your March went. How did your homeschool go? Are you planning for next year? All of that stuff. I would love to hear about it down below. Please share. Otherwise, if you like these homeschool update videos, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you want to. And I will see you in the next homeschool video. Okay, guys, take care.